Good morning, September the 8th, 2016. This is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology. And like today is day number 6 into week number 2. So let's get started. Good morning and welcome back to this class. We experienced a technical problem at the beginning of today's class, so we delayed about 5 minutes time. Very fortunately, I got a very good class. We supported just one another's study, and you got yourself engaged in the first 5 minutes using what we talk about as a last class, corporate social responsibility. Okay, now let's come back to this website. First of all, I would like to congratulate most of you who have already given me the pairing information. Okay, this is week number 2. Okay, week number 2, actually it's week number 3, I'm sorry, I'm still sleeping. Oh boy. Okay, it's week number 3. So the camera said, week number 3, remember. So let's take a look at the student pairing informations. Okay, here's the information I received from you in terms of your Padlet. I still got some member in this class who have not given me the pair Padlet information. As you can see, this is called incomplete. So Rex, are you here? Rex, are you here? Okay, you're not here. And then Yao Yan, pair number 6, Ziquan, pair number 4, as you can see here, down here, another person, Adrian, are you here? So you need to find Padlet. Okay, can you send your Padlet information to me?
Actually, it's through the, instead I send you through the
Dr. Wen's Q&A hotline of the second week. Okay, make sure you do it before the end of today. Otherwise, you will not have the privilege to enjoy the peer discussion forum. Okay?
What is the deadline?
It's already passed. Last Friday. And I remind the whole class this past, is it Monday? Yes. And you need to do it today. Okay? It's already one week past. Okay? And another person is Vicky. Are you here, Vicky? Vicky? Okay, Vicky is not here yet. If you look at this incomplete, that means you're the person who have not sent in the information. Alright? So after Vicky Tanjai, you need to send me your Padlet information, okay? Okay? Already sent me? Where? Not email. It's through the Dr. What's Q&A hotline. I cannot receive anything on the email. Alright? In the second with Dr. What's Q&A hotline, okay? I will help you do it if you have the Padlet. And then Wi-Phone, are you here? And Hong Bin. Hong Bin, are you here? Are you here? So do you have your Padlet information? Okay, make sure you send me the information. Do you know how to do it?
No.
No? Okay, I'll come to your desk to help you in a minute, okay? So it's already 1 week past. Alright? Then I think after Hong Bin is Wi-Phone. Are you Wi-Phone? No. Okay. Are you here Wi-Phone? Okay. Do you need help to look for a Padlet? Because we have 28 students here, and I know that as far as I checked it this morning, we still have 8 students who have not sent me the information. The next student makes 4 pairs. Okay? So you should be able to find your Padlet today. Alright? So, and then if you scroll down here, yes, Ming Huan. Are you here? Ming Huan? So you are the persons there. Okay, you're going to pair with, okay, that's very good. And then let's take a look at the rest of the list. Yes, the last student, Will. Are you here, Will?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to pair. So very good, at least we got 2 pairs and the third pairs. All right, so this is a very gentle reminder that you need your pair Padlet to get your work ongoing so that by the end of next week, you should be able to finish your first assignment, that is your first learning contract. Remember what you need to do? You need to write a journal. You need to make sure you share your journal in the online peer discussion forum to engage conversations with your learning Padlet. You will help your learning Padlet to discover more about his or her chosen topic. And your learning partner is also going to help you to discover more about your chosen topic. Okay, where are you going to choose a topic? Remember, this is week number 3, and in each week of our class, okay, we will give you a reading list. You can always find a reading list in the Moodle environment. Where can you find this? Okay, here we go. Let's go to the Moodle environment. So, at the very beginning, we invite you to visit a very important link called the reading links. Okay, this is the reading links from day number 1. In this reading link, when you click into it, you will be given something like this. That is the reading resources of this course. Now, from each of the first 4 weeks reading list, you're going to be given 4 reading lists. And in each reading list, you will have some questions, okay? For example, if you go to the reading list of week number 1, over there, you are given 2 questions, okay? Each question represents one specific topic you can choose to work on to write your journal. Now remember, in the 4 reading lists, there are probably 9 questions. In other words, you have 9 questions or 9 topics to choose one in the first 4 weeks of the semester. And this is week number 3, okay? Now suppose you have already chosen your topic. For example, what is information privacy, which is shared by Yao Yin on last Monday, I guess. Well, you have given a number of resources here. When you click on any of this link, you will have 2 possible results. These links are gathered from the internet. You can still find the information related to that link, or you become dead end. The link has already been changed, but it does not matter. You can always choose another link. And from that link that you choose, you need to do some discovery. Okay? You need to find out from the link you choose under the questions you have already chosen to start gather information for your journals, And then your job is to discover what you can find from the intellect, information that is very much relevant to this topic. And as of last class, which is the Monday class, I introduced to you a very important method of discovery. And the method of discovery, you can always go back to our PowerPoint on day number 5 to discover more. Yet, I've already given you the same method in today's PowerPoint. Put it very simply, it's a method by the name OIA. So you need to keep that in mind. It's a method by the name OIA. It's a very good method to help students to develop the critical thinking. Well, critical thinking. Thinking in a way that is disciplined. Thinking in a way that is very systematic. Thinking in a way that would give you the ability to analyze, okay? To synthesize. So O represent observation. How do you observe something? Yes. It's soft. It's O represent observation. Observations means I look at something. I enter a room. I experience something by looking around. Oh, it's a room with lights. Oh, it's a room with air conditioning. Oh, it's a room with students. Oh, it's a room with different type of tables arranged quite differently from any other classroom. Oh, it's a room with 2 screens, with 2 projectors. Oh, it's a room with windows over there, with window blinds over there. Oh, it's a room with a teacher talking, and the teacher puts on a yellow t-shirt. Oh, it's a room with a camera recording what the teacher is talking about. Observation. Oh, it's a room I can use my ear to listen to people talking. Oh, it's a room I can touch and I can feel something. Observation. Make the best use of our senses. The 5 senses for us to do what? Information gathering. We gather information with our ability to observe using the 5 senses that we have. Okay? And once we galvanize the process of observation, we need to keep the informations we could gather through observations. In what way? In this course, we provide you with a notebook, an electronic notebook, which is made available for your use in every week of your study through our UN Moodle environment. Where is the electronic notebook? Right here, at the end of each week's block, I said I will provide you with some tools to make the best use of those tools so that you can keep track of your study. And the first tool, if you look at every week, it's called a personal online learning journal 001, week number 1. So you just need to use this journal to keep track of the information you gather from the resources related to that week. So if I pick a topic, which is a question from week number 1's reading list, I'm going to use this online learning journal for week number 1 to keep track of the information I gather through that topic that week. Now, if I choose a topic which comes from week number 2, I'm going to use the personal online learning journal from week number 2 to keep track of the information I gather from the specific resources related to the topic that I got from week number 2. So this is the second notebook. And this is week number 3. So in week number 3, we have a similar notebook. So for each week, I provide you with a new notebook to capture your learning for one topic that you're so much interested in that week. Now, this tells you a little bit of my expectation. My expectation is that each student in this class will be conscientious enough to study at least one question per week. Okay? And the questions is related to the weekly topics of our discussion. Yet, I know that many of you are very busy with many courses you're doing, so you do not need to rush your journaling. What I want you to do is you have to keep in mind that we have 3 times throughout the semester when we're going to gather the assignment you finish. Okay? This is called the Learning Contract 1 assignment, which is due next Saturday and Sunday, and the Learning Contract 2 assignment, which is due, when you look at the calendar, maybe in the middle of October. Okay? And the last Learning Contract assignment may be due is towards the end of October, okay, before the beginning of November. Now, I want you to focus on doing the best journal you can imagine. How are you going to start doing your journal? You need to read the reading list. From reading the reading list, you'll be given the following picture. Okay? Let's go to the course review. Go to the very end. If you come to the course review of the semester, if you look at the first 4 weeks, okay? This is week number 1. We have for you 2 questions. If you look at week number 2, again, we have for you 2 questions. And this is week number 3. We have prepared for you 3 questions. So 2, 2, 3, 7 questions. And 1 more week to go before you are supposed to submit your first assignment, your journal. You have 2 more questions. Okay? So altogether, we have 9 questions Now, if you're working very closely with me, by the end of next week, you should have finished journaling 4 specific questions, 1 per week, right? Now, if you have not been following very closely, but you know that you need to submit the assignment with at least 1 journal topic, then you have to choose 1 question out of these 9 questions to start off the journaling process. Okay? You need to first of all select 1 question out of these 9 questions to start off your journaling process. Okay? So far so good. Suppose you have already selected your question. For example, the questions I mentioned here. What is information privacy? Now that belongs to the reading list in week number 1. So what you need to do is to go to read number 1 and take a good look at the reading list here. So if this is the question you select, for each question, as your teacher, I have already provided with you a set of information resources. By doing your observations here on the selected resource here, you should be able to discover enough information for you to learn something about this topic. Now the way is, or the question is, how are you going to discover? So, I introduced to you, as our last class, the method of discovery. Now, before I go back to the method of discovery, which is the old observation, which I've just elaborated to you, the next important letter you need to remember in the method of discovery is the I letter. I represent what? Interpretations. Interpretation. Now, what does it mean by interpretation? Well, if I'm going to tell a 3-year-old boy something he or she is going to be interested in, I really cannot lecture a 3-year-old boy or girl. I need to create some way to make sure he or she is going to understand what I'm going to help her or him to understand. So I need to interpret a simple way to let him or her know something I would like him or her to know. Well, that is a very interesting process. So we call interpretation is actually a questioning in the subject process. Instead of telling the child what this means, I'm going to ask the child some questions. The question itself would need to try the child to discover for him or her what I would like him or her to know. So interpretation actually is how you're going to turn something which is called knowledge nuggets you discover into meaningful questions. Meaningful questions. Or sometimes we use the word essential questions. Instead of telling you, a green apple sometimes tastes sour. A red apple will taste sweet. How are you going to tell a child a green apple will taste sour and a red apple mostly will taste sweet? Now you can think of an example on your own. How do you encourage the child to discover that? How do you do that? What is the most simple way to let the child know? Mostly, some green apples is not as sweet as the red apples. Now you can think about it, many possible solutions. So this is one way to interpret something. After the interpretation, suppose the child really understand now, oh, I have the experience that green apples are not as tasty as red apples. Next time I'm not going to grab green apple, I will grab red apples. And that is the lessons learned. So the third letter in the method of discovery that I would like you to practice to discover for your journaling process is the A letter. A represents applications. Application means you apply what you have learned to advise people. So the people, once they receive your advice, will caution what you said and try this out themselves. And then if they believe that is the case, they have evidence. All right? So the method I introduced to you as of last class, as I promised last week, when you are supposed to start your journaling process, is to understand the OIA process. Now, how do you find out more about the OIA process? If you come to the website here, when you go to online activity here, you are introduced to these 4 essential activities, online activities, which actually I mentioned about them in the very beginning week of our semester. You will be doing journals, and you will be doing discussion forums with your learning partner. That is very important that you have a learning partner before next week, because you still have 1 week's time to engage your learning partner. So the question is, what is meant by writing a learning journal? Now, in the PowerPoint that I showed you in day number 5, I've given you this 3 important advice. You need to go through this process: observations, interpretations, and applications. Once you've gone through the process, you need to keep records of your discovery in each stage of this process. Now, let me answer this question, because some of you asked me, is it difficult to write in a journal? I wrote something. Is this what you expect? It's very good. I value those students very much because you're really following me. Now, remember, I used an example of a news reporter to demonstrate to you what is the nature of a journaling process. If I were a reporter for a specific TV stations, when I was given the assignment to go to a particular venue to gather information about a specific news happening, I would pick up a piece of pen, a scratchbook, and I would go there to look at who I could interview, and then I start gathering information. In the process of gathering those informations, I will ask questions beginning with the W word. You see, what, when, where, why. Okay? And then I will also ask questions beginning with the letter H. How come? Okay? These are essential keyword for us to discover things. And then I try to gather information within those important questions by observing the surrounding. Oh, there's a fire happening there in a specific building. There is a living quarter on a specific floor, and smoke come out from the window of the building, and all the people above the floor are screaming for help, and all the fire engines come and the firemen start to work, and people on the ground call to make sure everything is okay in the old home. I am going to put together information I gather in a way. First, I need to keep track of those information. I may not be able to write them in beautiful English, and that is not necessary. So the simplest thing to do observation is to use bullet point. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. Keep track of the nuggets of information you have. And with each nugget of information you keep track of, make sure you cite the source. Building number 4, floor number 10. People yelling, "Hey, fireman, I see that building number 4, floor number 10. 4 people are yelling. Which is building number 4? Look at my camera. I got pictures of the camera. You got picture. It's the source. All right? So here you have enough information source you need to learn. Second, when you come to interpretation, again, you can use bullet point. You do not need to worry about writing good English at this point. Keep the bullet point. Questions. How come these fire happened? How many people got involved? How many fire engines are there? What is the classification of this fire? When do we expect that this fire could be put off? Questions. And then we come to application, lessons learned. We heard that someone, in fact, number B on the second floor, start off the process of barbecuing the whole home. They got out of control because the fire catches fast and they could control. Never do barbecue indoor. It's an important lesson to learn. So what you need to do here is guideline for you to pick up information. Your journal need not to be written in beautiful, grammatically correct English. Your journal is the focus on information gathering. You can always put them in bullet point. Of course, in individual bullet point, you still can write grammatically correct sentences. But you do not need to worry what we call putting together a coherent piece of writing. That's never our concern in the journal, right? So the journal is information gathering with a proper mindset. That is the beginning stage of a good writing, okay? Without information, you can never put into effective writing context, contextual information. So OIA, you must train yourself when you are faced with any information source. Have I gone through this process? And if you did, that is a very important stage to develop an analytical mind, which is very essential for your creative thinking and subsequently, or for your critical thinking and subsequently creative thinking. Critical thinking and creative thinking are very closely related, okay? It tells what kind of persons you are. All right, we'll get to that later. Now today, I would like to make sure you understand one important aspect of the OIA method. Let's go to today's class, which is week number 3, day number 6. I prepared a PowerPoint for you. In this PowerPoint, actually is very similar to day number 5's PowerPoint, but it contains a little bit more information on what you can expect from us. Here we go. So, if you look at the manual here, I provide you with an important item that is called Course Essential Questions. Now, these set of course essential questions will help you go through the process of OIA with guided teachers' attentions. Now, in this course, we emphasize inquiry-based learning, which is a very important method of learning to learn. But it does not mean you go on all on your own. Otherwise, there's no need for me to stand here. We provide you with a structured approach with different levels of scaffolding support so that you can go through the process of developing yourself, particularly the ability to write, to read, to think, and to express yourself. Essential questions, very important, we'll get to that. And then for learning contract number 1, we actually have gone through all those topics except for this one we're going to go through today. So let's go for it. These set of essential questions are questions that I created to help you to get into your journaling process. Now, the first one is, suppose you've already chosen a topic, which is a question from one of the reading lists. You need to have this mindset. Ask the question, how and where does this topic fit into the overall learning of this course? Now remember, this is the general education course, and it's a course with the title Web Technology and Life. I've given you the catalog descriptions of this course. I've given you the interpretations of the differences between this course and the major education course. And then we walk through, this is the third with the topics. You need to answer this question when you pick your topic. You must have this picture in mind. It's your learning in progress. Your picture might be different from your fellow students' picture, particularly your learning partner's picture, because the two of you cannot choose the same questions. Remember that. The second question is, how many important parts, pieces, steps, subtopics, or main points make up this topic that you've chosen? Now remember, if you reread all these questions from the reading list I provide with you, you always find the keyword what. All the questions start with the keyword what. Okay? We are helping you to step into the OIA process with the what questions. How many important parts, pieces, steps, subtopics, main points make up the topic you choose? Your question. Third, suppose you've gone through reading some of the resource that you pick immediately under the questions there. It's time for you to ask this question. After gathering so much information from those given resources related to that question I choose, do I have a clear understanding of the important or somehow technical vocabulary of this topic? And are you comfortable using it? Okay, so you didn't teach us a lot about the technical vocabulary. Then I would like to remind you, somewhere here in the environment that we provide you, all right, in the Moodle environment, okay, if you go to week number 1, okay, we have something called Learn and Practice for Learning Contract number 1. It's very important that you do not miss this Learn and Practice, because here, when you go through those individual items, they are called Learn the Basics. In other words, you do not wait for me to show you this, because we simply do not have that much time in class. It's a very good teacher-centered scaffolding resource for you to get to know the basics of those topics. You must take a good look at those essential topics. Not many, it's just 7. All right? So do not forget that. If you happen not to have visited them, come back to this Learn and Practice immediately under each week's Moodle block. As you can see here, we are still in Learning Contract number 1. Visit them. All right? So let's go back here. Essential questions, we got this on track. And then you need to ask yourself this question. Can I give clear examples? Because examples explain quite a lot of things without much ado, that will allow others, particularly your learning partner, to more easily understand the topic. How can I help a child to understand the differences between a green apple and a red apple? How can I help you understand the usage differences between using Internet Explorer and a Firefox Explorer, or even a Chrome Explorer? How are you going to tell them? Can you write a clear explanations of the topic in your own words? Now that I have experience using Internet Explorer and the Google Chrome, I know how stupid it is if I still stick to my own usage of the browser. So you have to tell people, why do you call it stupid? Explanation. Can you explain how the topic information is organized? What is information privacy? Now, how information privacy is structured so that we can understand much more easily. Do you still remember the video you saw last time of a mother-son conversations where the mother observed that his son is going to upload some picture into the internet in the specific social networking media where he has more than 170 friends, and his son admitted most of those friends are not friends but acquaintances. What does it mean? I don't really know them, but I just add them. Okay? What would others need to learn first? Second, third, to help them understand it fully? Well, you must have the experience to use Facebook before I can tell you what is meant by social networking. You must have the experience of being accepted as a friend, or adding people as a friend before you know the complicated settings with privacy? Can you find images, simple picture, that would clearly represent the ideas, concepts, actions, and uses of this topic? Now these are actually interpretation questions. And these interpretation questions could lead you step by step into understanding your chosen topic very, very confidently. But you have to go through the process. Can you explain how to use the topic, if applicable, to solve problems discussed in this course? How do you recommend to this child who was having a conversation with his mother when her mother advised him not to upload those pictures? What are the perceived dangers after you have uploaded the picture? All right? So can you explain the most difficult aspect of understanding this? Can you explain the most difficult aspect of enabling the child to understand the dangers behind uploading those pictures? You see that? Those questions could be applied directly into the context. Do you feel at the end of this journaling process, you could answer most of the question your peers, including your learning partner, might ask you about this topic? Do you understand that? If I were a reporter, I went to do news gathering of a particular news item, my editor is going to ask me the same set of questions before I write him my report. In your report, I cannot discover enough information on each one of this. And then you ask the editor, how much time do you give me to do the reporting? You will have 2 minutes. 2 minutes! A lot! So you have to structure your reporting based on those questions. And then, that is the process of journaling. And I must tell you more. Besides journaling, there is also the process behind writing your blog that is very important. A journal is just the beginning. The blog is the final destinations. In the process from going from a journal to the blog, you need to engage yourself in continuous discovery, continuous conversations, and continuous revisions of your work written down. A journal is a set of scattered findings. You do not need to put them into prose-like English, but as you move a journal into your blog, you need to make sure you can put them in grammatically correct English, put it in paragraph, coherent enough, with enough information to tell the story. So storytelling in written English, it's a big challenge. It's a process, but you have a chance to experience that in this course. Okay, again, these are the informations, reading list. I remind you every time, this is the assessment, so you will get 10% at the end of your first assignment. All right? And then this is the blended learning advice. This is week number 3. Before you come to this class today, you should have studied this link. Okay? Make sure you understand what we are doing. These are the topics we're going through. Now we are here. Actually, we are here today. And then, this is the OIA I mentioned last time, and I repeated this time. This is how you follow up with a discussion. Remember, your partner and you need to learn together. Are we doing observations together? Are we doing interpretations together? Are we extracting our lessons learned together? And then you need to keep in mind the 3 important learning objectives. I would like to tell you that my job here is to give you a soft mini lecture to make sure you become literate in the language of our technologies and in the specific impact of such technologies in our daily living. The second is my job to encourage you to formulate your own ideas and express your own ideas through your journals, through your in-class sharing, through your reporting later on. And to raise your awareness of the impact of such technologies on our daily living through the focus of specific instances of the web technologies in our daily living. I'm waiting for you to share with me your personal experience. And this is the intended learning outcomes. I'm working out the first one in the first 3 weeks, And we are getting into the second one, systematically. Okay? Okay, and I think the questions I would like you to be aware of is you need to finish watching the 3 documentaries to get ready for our discussions. And then these are the questions we have for this week, and we're getting into the digital divide today. Okay, let's get back to our Moodle environment. Week number 3. I would like you to understand the meaning of digital divide. Okay? You know that in this world, we have people who have everything. We also have people who don't have all the things we enjoy. So somehow there is something called a divide. And if you have been watching the Olympic Games in Brazil, they often showed a very interesting picture. On the same hill, on top of the hill you see a boundary wall. On the left-hand side of the boundary wall are the poverty areas. On the right-hand side of the boundary wall is the rich people. When the aerial view look on this, you can already see there's a big divide, a wall dividing the poor from the rich. When we talk about digital divide, it's a divide with the characteristic of the internet age. The people in the world, in every region of the world, who have the resources of computer, who have the resources of internet access, who have the resources of people helping them to learn how to use those access or resources. But there's still people who don't have anything. They do not have computer, they do not have television, they don't even have electricity. How do they enjoy internet access, which is a tip to the knowledge of the whole world? As we step into the 21st century, we see a lot of progress all around the world because of technological development. But we also see a lot of people getting poorer and poorer, not given the opportunity to use those resources, not given those resources at all. A digital divide represents a generational gap between those who know and those who still are very much in that age. The question is, how can we help? How can we help? Allow me to show you a story, and through the story, I want you to decide on your own what is meant by those who have and those who don't. What is meant by an individual effort to try to bridge the divide. Okay? Keep that in mind. These are the stories of people like you, and stories of people like me as a teacher. Okay?
Because a lot of people always search me. Yeah, and so I think I have a lot of experience about service.
I would like to make this world a better place. Like, there are lots of discontent, discord in our world. But by knowing more about each other, by stepping into each other's shoes, that you can really understand their needs, their concerns, what they want, and all this can help make, by mutual understanding, you can know more about each other and help making our world a better place, a more peaceful one.
If we want to have our younger generation more fruitful and more advancing towards and being more competitive with others, we need to do more.
I like to think of service learning as the closest to a complete education. it posed a great impact throughout my life, that changing my attitude and strengthen my belief in helping others, and also staying strong when we have difficulties.
After the service, I really pushed to continue my thinking about programs and other things for now.
Even the service recipients, their impact was very short. So it's the learning part that the students most benefit from doing those service learning things, right?
Realization, awareness, and self-development.
Find more yourself.
Service and learning together.
When you put academic components into service, and that students learn about these academic components through giving service to people.
Service learning is a way to encourage students to be willing to put their knowledge in practice. So the learning part is the most important.
Service learning offers students the unique opportunity to engage with the society and rethink the meaning of their study and their role in society. In this episode, we will follow Dr. Nai, Dr. Chang, and Dr. Wu in the Service Learning Project, in which students visit and teach computing skills to children in Cambodia. Dr. Nai, Dr. Chang, and Dr. Wu will also share with us their experience of teaching service learning subjects and the challenges and rewards that come with it.
Service learning is rewarding, but I do have to say it is probably the most challenging thing in terms of teaching. First challenge is from the student level. In general, whenever we bring students on these subjects, we always have students whose idea is to go on there as a cheap holiday and just to play. We find that the reflective essays have been a wonderful way in dealing with them.
These days seems a bit messy, but you guys make me know how to consider of others and make me know how to cooperate with you guys.
The reflection really helped us, and I really want to thank my supervisors and also their tutors. Yeah, they really helped us because every night we have meetings and all that kind of thing that really help us, and they really do other kind of reflection with us when we went back to Hong Kong.
Giving them a lot of reflection due to making them really think upon what they were learning. I think that actually had a very positive impact upon the motivation of our students, motivating them to actually put themselves aside and actually serve and try to learn from this experience. So can you share with us about what you have learned?
Not for the result, never try. Just in case, if I'm not good. In the past, I was too target-oriented, like what I would like to do, what I would like to achieve. For some of the time, I may be quite reckless towards others' needs, like the service recipients' needs. I may not care too much about their needs, but through this experience that I learned that it is important for us to step into their shoes, to know more about their abilities, their needs, and to conduct their service projects in a more effective manner.
The other challenge that I can think of immediately is in terms of the challenges in terms of knowledge that we are dealing with. Another example also comes from this summer when we actually put together a project that involved bringing our students to this orphanage that was serving HIV/AIDS positive orphans. We gave a lot of training. We gave them a lot of preparation. We had doctors coming from Prince of Wales Hospital. We had the orphanage director coming to talk about the orphans and so on. They went in there within 3 seconds. They were with the kids. They were talking with the kids. They were playing with them. They were holding them. And I think that the biggest difference was the amount of preparation that we gave them.
As one of the preparation activities, students participated in a warm-up service at a local school of special education, in which they visited and played games with a group of mentally challenged kids. At the end of the service, they were given a debriefing by Dr. Nai.
Let me just ask a question of my own, okay? Who was not comfortable at the beginning? The reason why we brought you here is because think about this environment. This is a very normal environment, right? Look at how clean the place is. I wonder how many of our classrooms in any course are this clean.
I guarantee you it will be nowhere as clean as here. The kids will be something that you have not seen before. Some of the kids today, they were mentally challenged, but they were clean. Some of the kids in Cambodia will not be clean. Most of them will not be wearing shoes. You will not be wearing shoes. The environment will not be clean like this. There will be dust, there will be dirt everywhere. Right? So in a way, the reason why we brought you here is because we want to see how you will react, to the challenge of being in a situation that is not exactly something that you're used to.
Well, I'm really glad that I come and be able to observe this particular project, this class. It is obvious that Professor Lai, Grace, Stephen Chen, Professor Chen have prepared them very well. The expectation of the student need to be well prepared. I think the staff themselves need to be well prepared. I think this is one lesson that I hope that at least I learned from this experience. And I certainly will try to encourage all the staff to remember that when they start designing a service learning course.
We always make the students work in a team, and as we shared just now, there are lots of powers in terms of teamwork, students working together. Throughout the process, the students actually learn how to work with each other, handle personal conflicts, handle differences of opinion, and through the process, they actually assessing each other. Sometimes you don't really need to go in and say, okay, who has been the leader? It is obvious from how they interact with each other, who has been stepping up. Sometimes we put this student in as a team leader. It turns out the other person is actually a much more effective leader. And this we can see because we work alongside them and we can see them. And the assessment sometimes is actually quite easy because it is quite very obvious.
Then also, because we are the team, we need to know what happened during the conversation. We need to listen. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
I was just thinking about how students learn, how service learning connects to the academic discipline, and I think that one of the ways that they connect the most is that it actually lets students take whatever they were learning in the classroom and put it to real use. All of the stuff that is wrong, frequent to all of a sudden starts to make sense, and that was because they actually had to understand this stuff in order to put it in place.
Most of the times in the class, we lecturer only talk about some theories, and in fact we may not know how the theory works. But when we go into the real world and we work with that theories, and we find that, oh, these theories work like that.
And in some of our other projects where we actually get students to go and teach, because we are from the Department of Computing, we ask them to go in and teach, programming or something like that. And really, one of the students came back and told me, said, wow, when I started preparing the lesson plans, when I started teaching, then I realized how many holes there were.
I remember in these few days I have taught my studentmates, because I'm leaving in Hawaii, taught my studentmate about the programming. Yeah, and I really learned a lot from her, because I remember we revised the programming language because I haven't touched programming for nearly one semester. Yeah.
Through those subsequent projects, they provide the triggers, the catalysts, for students to eager to learn more, and then we can offer them more afterwards. That is the truth. I mean, we are not saying that all the subsequent projects can fulfill all the components of IT professional knowledge. That is not necessary. But then it serves as a way to initiate and motivate our students. That is more important. That is the purpose of education.
One's learning to use one's intrinsic value to bring up some extrinsic force. That is fair to you. That is fair for you, but it's essential for us.
service learning can help you find more yourself.
I think that doing the service learning subjects are probably, even forget the subject, even the project itself is probably one of the most demanding things that I've had to deal with. I think the biggest thing is that it's one of the most satisfying things that I've ever done. It's one of the most challenging things that I've ever done, but it's also one of the most personally satisfying things. To see the students grow, to see how they, to actually watch them grow over the course of one summer while they are working with the projects. I remember one summer where you see the student at the beginning of the summer and you see him at the end of the summer and you're like, wow, you know, this kid is like two different people. And then watching them, you know, start from being just simply participation to starting to coordinate, to starting to lead, and to start to propose projects. And towards the end of his academic studies, he was actually going out and recruiting new project staff for us. And that is just so completely amazing. And I don't know, I mean, in many ways, I see our students as, okay, you know, they're not my kids, but they're somebody else's kids. And, you know, I'm sure that his parents will be happy to see him learning something like this. And as his teachers, you know, it is the duty and the responsibility that society or our job has placed upon us. But at the same time, it's also just, I mean, what could be more satisfying than actually seeing us make an impact in somebody's life, something that visible. You know, you could teach like a half a dozen subjects, get a really good SFQ, and still not see that, because students will not remember you after the subjects. But for the service learning projects, I've never had a student who went on the service learning and they could not remember me afterwards. That's not gonna happen. Yeah.
I think, you know, it is important. Now I'm more convinced that particularly for academic staff who have never done it before, I would strongly encourage those staff to take time to come out to one of the service learning courses to understand and experience what this is all about before you get into the planning, before you get into the designing of the course at all.
Okay, allow me to provide a little bit of the context here. In this video, I would like you to explore what has been discussed or reviewed in the video that has something to do with the digital divide. We have a lot of people in this video featuring the knowledge to serve others. We have a lot of information in this video featuring a group of students in a remote area of the world, not very remote, which needs help. And then we have the pairing process. And the context is service learning. Now, the question is, do you still see what you can do as a student to help bridge the gap? What role can you play to help bridge the gap? You can ask yourself these questions. Will I be given opportunities like this to join a group of students guided by the teachers who's helping them to learn some disciplinary knowledge and use the knowledge we pick up from classes, which is from the courses you take, and serve others with what we learn? All right? This is the theme. Yet, what is not being talked about in this video, which I hope I'll give you the link later tonight, but unfortunately, the link is in Cantonese, is from one of those students who served in this trip. Let me give you the background. Over the past 4 to 5 years, in each of the summer of the previous 4 to 5 years, a group of about 60 to 80 computer science students from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University will join one interesting service learning project. They will go to Cambodia, a Southeast Asian country, and go into different cities of that country, go to the specific school of those cities, and help the primary students to know something about information literacy. In other words, to know how to use computer, to know how to understand what is meant by intellect. Now, believe it or not, they visit those areas of the country where with not even electricity. So how can you expect those kids who have the facilities of using a computer, let alone internet access, that they have this project in front of them? The mission is, we are going to bring to several hundred of students in several different cities of Cambodia where they have never experienced using technologies to learn. Now here in Macau, we have CDM which provide internet service. But in those cities, they don't have a company like CDM. So how can they solve the problem of helping those kids to experience the use of computer with internet access? Now that fits into the picture why they talk about Department of Computing students. Okay, they have a project in front of them. They're going to serve in this Cambodia, in different cities of this Cambodian country, with the kids, help them to attain what is meant by using technology to learn. But they don't even have electricity. They don't even have computer. They don't even definitely don't have internet access. So the bunch of 60 to 70 students plan. We need to provide them with all the tools, with all the machines, with all the resources, so that we could go there, deliver to each school a 7-day class, activity-based for the kids. And they came up with the idea of, do you know what is meant by Iron Man? Have you seen the picture of Iron Man? Iron Man, okay? They built a project based on the concept of an Iron Man. So they developed a batch of Iron Man suitcases. With the Iron Man suitcases, they would bring the suitcases to wherever they go and set up a computer there, set up a localized company like CPM with a mobile server, serving the needs of the community. And they got sponsorship from a big company in Hong Kong. One company in Hong Kong, they provide the devices. They're part of the devices just like our mobile phone. They provide about 100 or something of those mobile phones. So they test the technology, they bring the dynamo, the electricity generator, they ship everything there from Hong Kong to Cambodia with different cities, and they get the money to buy what we call a tri-rickshaw. In Chinese, the T3 you understand what it's meant? The motorbike with 3 wheels, okay? And they carry their Iron Man suitcase with them to wherever they go to the school, and they learn how to set up devices. And they need 1 day's time to set things up, and then they developed a 5-day process and let the kids enjoy the resources. And towards the end, they teach the kid how to use the device. And one thing that is very interesting, they download the whole Wikipedia into the hard disk of those devices. And so that the kid can use the Wikipedia on the specific memory with the mobile network there they create, and they can enjoy something like mobile learning with internet access. Can you imagine that? Those are first-year student, second-year student, third-year student, fourth-year student. They put what they learned in class into practical projects. They planned the trip. They got to sell. You can see only a picture, a small picture of how the teacher get them ready. Because there it's very dirty, and they have to interact with the kids, possibly infected with HIV virus. Okay, I just want to leave you here, let you think. And I'm going to give you another video with a student sharing this project, but unfortunately in Cantonese. But you can always get one friend who can understand Cantonese in terms for you. It's so meaningful. I love to choose this episode to demonstrate to you the meaning of digital divide and what each one of you can do. In particular, when you're living the RC and the RC, they have service learning, whatever it is. All right? So allow me to take attendance for today. And I will send out messages to remind you what you need to submit by the end of next week. Actually, you just need to work it out using less than 4 days' time. Okay? All the previous week, you just observe and learn. All right? But for the 4 students who have not paid up, would you please stay after our class so that I can help you to make sure you know how to give me the information. Okay? So allow me to take attendance first for today. Yao Yan, you still want to share today? Next class, next Monday. Okay? The first thing I will do is give you 5 minutes next class. Okay? That's very good. Okay, good to see you here. Allow me to take attendance for you. Rex, are you here? Thank you, you're back. Thank you very much. Fora, thank you. Shun, Zhuan, are you here? You're here? Thank you. Terry, thank you. Neil, thank you. Coco, K-O-K-O, thank you. C-O-C-O, thank you. Okay, this two. Adrian, thank you. Vicky, thank you. Arisis, thank you. Naomi, thank you. Rajan, thank you. Taizai, thank you. Hongbin, thank you. And then Schofield, thank you. Rena, thank you. Selena, thank you. And then Addison, I think you left early, right? Yes, thank you very much. Rita, are you here, Rita? You're not here today, okay. Karen, thank you very much. Bas, you're not here today, okay. Actor, thank you. Tiffany, thank you. Okay, we saved attendance for the first page. We still have the second page coming. Teresa, thank you. See you, thank you. Reggie, thank you very much. Alice, thank you. And then Will, are you here, Will? Will, you're not here? Okay. Oh, you're there. Okay, that's good. Now, for those of you who have a class to catch at 1, you're free to go. For the students who have not paid up yet, base. Okay, thank you. All right, I'll give you the attendance. Base, no class. Okay, yes. Sure, yes. Right here. Right? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, now I really enjoyed this class together with you because I think you're quite ready to get into our teamwork study next week. It will be a little bit different. So make sure, heed my advice, watch the free documentaries as is indicated in the PowerPoint of this week. Growing Up Online, Digital Nations, and Generation Y. It's just 3 hours, 1 hour each. So it's okay for you. And make sure you're here next Monday with your chosen students, okay? We will try to get some exercise done in class with exercise which you feel comfortable. And then I would like to get you into discussion. All right? I'll see you next Monday. And that's it for today's CISG114, Section 1, Day number 6, Week number 3. Okay, that's it. Okay, may I help you?